What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
another day at the office, I get to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones,
Orlando, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, sir. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
and all the other interesting guests we've had on. Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support.
Enjoy our shows? Follow the Mercado Airwaves crew all over social media. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. On Instagram, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy. Alex is at Mercado2121. Mike is at Mike Mercado2333. And our true crime show is at Murder Mysteries and More. And on Twitter, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy. Alex is at Mercado21Alex. And Mike is at MMercado2333. You can follow the network at Mercado Airwaves. Follow our pop culture show on Twitter at Good Brothers Pod. Get us on the go by downloading our programs anywhere you get your favorite podcast, like iTunes, SoundCloud, Podbean, Stitcher, and other popular sites. Just search us at Mercado Airwaves. While you're at it, please like, rate, review, and share us with your friends. Visit us on youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. Click the subscribe and like button to get notified every time a new episode or interview is posted. Support Mercado Airwaves by visiting patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves, the home of our interviews with athletes and celebrities, which you can get ad-free and early before it's released to the public. Come play video games with us on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves Network. Mercado Airwaves is powered by Munch Art Design. Like them on Facebook at Munch Art Design. Voiceover work on Mercado Airwaves is performed by Josh Fox.
And here we go.
Get ready, get set for the best movie and pop culture talk in the universe. It's the Good Brothers on Mercado Airwaves with your hosts, Alex Mercado and Mike Mercado.
Welcome back to the Good Brothers, y'all. I'm Alex, that's Mike, and we are the Good Brothers here for some Arabian Nights. Say hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
So I kind of broke it there. We are going to talk a lot of Aladdin, aren't we? Probably our favorite movie ever.
Yeah, perhaps right there, but Will Smith always finds a way to get it people stirring, and people like to let their voices known, Alex, because a lot of people did not like how the genie looked, but for once, not only are you and I on the same page, but we're also against the grain. We liked how he looked.
I thought he looked fine for guys, it's live action. What'd you expect him to look like?
All right, so before we get into full deep dive of the Aladdin trailer that we saw, it was only a 50-second TV spot.
I mean, from overall everything we've seen just basic shots, not a lot of talking.
So we'll get a little bit about who we saw, what we saw. But we also want to talk a little bit about the Frozen trailer that dropped. We want to talk a little bit about Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's to each and every one of you guys. And breaking bad news and whatever else pops into our crazy heads. But why don't we get into the Arabian Nights story, in the sands. Who disturbs my slumber? Thank you. I was sitting there struggling in the rough. It's going to take us a little bit. Once we start getting the quotes going, it's going. But Alex, yeah, sure enough, we Entertainment Weekly, we saw how Will Smith looked as the genie a little while back. So we had an idea of what his human form was going to look at, kind of how when the genie goes into human form, what that looked like. Yeah. So now we've seen him right after he rubs the lamp. And maybe you want to know what the thing is, Alex, at least for me personally, why I'm not upset about how Will Smith looks. For some crazy reason, that's how I kind of pictured him.
Yeah, and it's like
weird.
Like you can't make him too big.
Yeah.
They made him big enough. I like the smoke. I like how else is his face gonna look? Like we said at the beginning of the show, like before we started recording, Robin Williams wouldn't have looked any better, people. No. Like I know, I get it. I love Robin Williams. I wish it was like James Earl Jones, where he was still alive to do it, because he'd be the only one to be coming back. I guarantee it. That's not the way it worked out. And I'd rather see someone try something new than do an impression.
Yeah, exactly.
And Will Smith at least will give you something fresh. He's lovable. He's fun. Like, who'd you want? Vin Diesel? Like, I don't know. Like, who else would you have wanted?
Now I don't know if there's a middle ground where you make the genie because he's going to be one of the CGI characters. You make him look as much as you can like the genie in the cartoon, but then when he transforms, he looks like Will Smith and he's Will Smith's voiceover. Maybe,
I
but
think
that's
worse. Worse.
But
That's
to
more
me, that's
cartoony.
placating. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like be your own thing. And I think the real problem becomes people don't like changes. They just don't. Like, people don't, and especially normal fans. But the fact remains, this movie, and I text this to you, it's the God of War treatment to Red Dead Redemption to me. Lion King almost is a guaranteed hit, almost a guaranteed billion
It's
dollar
really hard for it to not be a hit.
Exactly, especially with Jon Favreau directing it. To me, this movie has the biggest uphill battle and has everything going against it, even with people's emotion. But here's the thing. Nobody has been able to say anything bad about the movie.
Oh, no, it's going to be like Beauty and the Beast where it's going to make $1 billion. People's complaints are going to be like, I don't like the new songs. Well, Beast doesn't look as big as usual does. I'm like, guys, there's only so much you can do live action. Like Baloo the bear didn't look like he did in the cartoon. He looked like a bear.
Right.
He did, like, the snake didn't have googly eyes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to accept it. Like, wait till you see it. Now, if it looks terrible in post and we watch it and it's bad, and Will Smith's more distracting and charming, which, guys, he was one of the best parts of Suicide Squad, a bad movie. Like, there's not a lot of movies you can name where you're like, Will Smith sucked in it. And I hated
After
him
Earth
in it.
was kind of bad for both of
But
them.
he was the best part of After Earth.
And that's
still.
a bad movie. But it's funny you bring up too. I can't see where people think he looks weird. It's
jarring.
Yeah, it is jarring, and because of just how he looks, maybe to some people's eyeballs, the CGI doesn't look right.
It was going to look jarring regardless.
But to me, like, you're right, but I also think there is a technical part to it where some people's eyes haven't adjusted to that type of CGI.
Yeah.
There is an uncanny valley of his face. I could understand it. I'll give you, if your complaint is, he looks a little weird. But if your complaint is he looks bad or it looks dumb
Will Smith was a bad choice,
then I think you're off. That's what I think you're off.
Like, my argument to people, Will Smith's a bad choice. Name a better choice.
Yeah.
And I find it you're going to have a real hard time finding someone to do a better job taking over for Robin Williams. Like, a very hard time.
I think open-minded
right
people...
now, I couldn't do it. Right now, I couldn't give you a better or as good option. Like, on the spot right now, you have 10 seconds, Mike. Like, you couldn't do it.
No, I couldn't do it.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I think the only other casting choice I would have made is instead of Seth Rogen as Iago, I would have put Kevin Hart. And, like, to me, like, that's the
is
only...
Seth Rogen Iago?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, no, he's Pumbaa. I'm sorry, he's Pumbaa. Yeah, I forgot
Iago
who
has
Iago
it's a lower. It's
I
a
bet you
comedian.
what
comedian. It's a comedian on Netflix.
Unless
he
it's
just got
somebody
a
really
special.
famous, then I'll take it back. But for some reason, I thought it was Seth Rogen, so that's
He's
why I made
Pumbaa.
it.
No, he's Pumbaa.
All right, never mind.
And
Pumbaa's a
I
good
think
one.
that's another thing. It's like, but that's different. Like with Lion King, where like there's a lot of voice acting in Lion King. So like half the battles is voice, and they're animals. It's easier. You don't have a mythical genie in there. You know, that's a tough half human hybrid of a mythical wizard. Like that's just. I think there's not much more they could have done, and I'm just excited for the movie. I think Aladdin looks great. Jafar looks great. Raj, we got a little bit of Raj. He looks better than The Walking Dead's Tiger. Princess Jasmine, Naomi Scott from Power Rangers, she looks great.
Yeah, she looks.
I think everyone looks great. The scenes look good. I love the Iago flying out. You see the background.
Jafar, again, you mentioned
You
Jafar
can
looks
see
so
like the attention to detail. Like the Prince Ali song is going to be great. You can already tell, like that they're going to do a big Prince Ali version with Will Smith as Will Smith. Now, if they make it a rap, I'm like, you're not helping yourself, guys, by letting Will Smith rap.
Like you think he would? He's going to
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Disney changed up one of the little songs because it's Will Smith. But I'm like, that's probably where I can't defend you anymore.
You know, I can find a voice for
He might not have a voice.
Timon because I found
Timon is
no. Well, I mean, John Oliver is Sazu.
yeah.
Obviously, Rafiki is John Canny. Billy Eichner is Timon. Seth Rogen is Pumbaa. Eric Andre, Keegan Michael Peele, and Florence Kasumba are the hyenas. Yeah, I don't see. Obviously, Chiwetel Ejiofor as Scar. That's going to be amazing. James Earl Jones as Mufasa. Obviously, Beyonce as Nala. Donald Glover and Crown Prince are. J.D. McCary are Simba, but I don't see a Iago.
They don't have him listed.
Would it be crazy if it's still Gilbert Godfrey?
I think maybe that's what they're going for.
Yeah.
I don't think, but like in this universe, Iago might not talk.
Oh, maybe.
Like
Maybe
you got to
Abu
think like
doesn't really talk though.
Abu never talked.
He never
in the first
talked, but like
place.
maybe he doesn't have to say
Iago did talk. You know what? I think if I had to guess on money, because I was looking too, and they don't have an actor there. Those are the only two choices you have if you're hiding it. I think they're not going to let him talk.
Wow.
Because
did we ever discuss that Iago wouldn't talk in this movie?
No, because I don't think anyone ever thought that he wouldn't. But because he is a really big part of the other one. But like live action, you're like he's the only animal that talks, kind of like Meowth and Pokemon. Like he doesn't have to talk necessarily. But at the same time, I would like that would be the greatest thing ever if it's Gilbert Godfrey and
I
like
would be so
and
hyped.
he comes out of nowhere and still voice. You're just like, done. But no, they don't. Have
I'm
one
so
listed.
dumb. I was because I was going through all the recent voicing cats of Lion King because that's where it all came in. And I'm like, they don't have anybody for Aladdin. And I'm like,
no, yeah,
wait a
but
minute, Aladdin doesn't have any
but
voice
Abu
actors.
doesn't talk. Raj doesn't talk. Karma doesn't talk.
I'm like, holy
Genie's
crap.
the only mythical thing that talks.
I was going through it. I'm like, the first thing I said, I'm like, because Disney, obviously with Disney having all its new live action movies, I'm like, I would think it would be one of the big ones is Iago being.
But look
I'm
at
like,
Dumbo. You're not going to have talking mice in Dumbo.
Yeah,
and that
man.
was a big storyline. So you can really do these, like, this could be a test. Because now you have animals that did talk in the cartoon that you're going to say, okay, they don't talk anymore. And is that going to affect my story? Like, am I going to notice, damn, Iago's not saying anything. Hey, where's my little mouse friend that rides on Dumbo? Or are they going to give me enough story where I'm like, oh, you know what? I didn't notice.
Because I was going through it, I'm like, wait, it's all stuff that I already know.
Because now you look at it, like, Dumbo had talking animals, not going to be in it. Aladdin, same thing. Mulan, they already basically said they're not going to do Mushu.
That's why I was
so they're
like
half the narration of the movie.
The whole article, it only mentioned like a couple auxiliary characters, but like the whole article was basically about the Lion King. I'm like, but so Disney's getting all this praise about its casting, about its live action movies, but
they're not casting.
But it's all
mythical animals.
Yeah,
and these.
it's interesting.
But like they were so important, so I want to see what they do with it. But
that's an interesting. That's interesting.
I guess we'll see. Like I wish for a surprise. I just think they're not cat. They're like, hey, we could tell a story without them. Honestly.
But again, it goes back, and it just so happens that reading the fact that the Lion King is the only one that has all the star power when it comes to the VO, it goes back to my point that Aladdin has all this to go up against, and I bet you it's the little engine that could. It's obviously not the little engine, so the IP of Aladdin, but I bet you by the time it's all said and done, Aladdin's a better movie than Lion King. And that's just my opinion. And you know what? I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a better movie as a cartoon, but I think right now, from what we've seen, for what kind of how everything just is looking to me, I feel like this is it. This is that moment. I think this is one of those times where we're gonna look back and be like, do you remember when these young actors were in this movie, or do you remember when people actually hated how Will Smith looked as a genie as they're making Aladdin 3 in the theaters in 2024? So we'll see how that works out, Alex. But sure enough, Disney continues its hot streak, Alex, and we'll be breaking down Aladdin as we get closer throughout the summer. But we got our first trailer for Frozen.
No idea what's going on in it, but it looks kind of cool.
How much is it going to make? All the monies?
I don't think it'll ever make as much money as the first. It might actually. Frozen kind of changed the game a little bit. Like it really did those obnoxious numbers. I mean, you know what? Yeah, it probably will make more money. Like kind of like Avengers 2, where you're like, it's gonna make more money probably.
Is this the last Frozen?
No, I gotta see the story. You know, like How to Train Your Dragon's coming out part 3. Like they could have ended it after 1.
But DreamWorks, we also know, likes to make. I mean, they made like 7
they're making a Toy Story 4, so why would they not make Frozen 3?
What makes more
4?
money, Frozen 2 or Toy Story 4?
Frozen 2.
I
think Toy Story screwed themselves, and it could be a great movie and a better ending. But you're like, man, that third ending really stuck it. Like I really hope you can stick it as much. And they say they can. And all the rumors coming out is like, guess what? They do stick another like it's kind of like Lord of the Rings, where you're like, okay, that ending's cool. Oh, here's another ending. Yeah. Wait, let's throw a third ending in there for you. Yeah, you know what? One more ending. Like that's how it's gonna feel with Toy Story.
Do you think Frozen 2 gets nominated for Academy Award
it already got nominated
for Best Picture? For Best Picture.
No.
Okay.
No animated movies.
No, so I was going to ask that question when we get closer to Toy Story 4. Will Toy Story 4 get nominated for an Academy Award in 2020? I think it's one of these two movies.
No, dude, none of those movies are good. Like that's anime. Anime is the furthest thing away.
Well, I mean, it's happened. An anime movie has won Academy Award.
What was the last one?
The last one to win one, I think, was like in 1940. But the last one to be nominated, I believe, was Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, that's a different time. I think that there's just.
I mean, 10 nominations.
The indie movie came in.
Okay,
the politics came in. Like if you're
10
going off
nominations.
1940 and Beauty and the Beast, like.
But what I'm saying is, with 10 nominations, and after, I think there will be a year where not only science fiction, a horror, and a cartoon will all be nominated for top 10.
How about this? We still didn't get.
We got Black Panthers
a lot.
right there.
Yeah, one dude. We got like 3 movies that should have probably been nominated that weren't just because they were horror movies. Like, no, dude. I think we're obnoxiously far away to even mention it. Like I don't like. I think in your head you think we're closer. I'm like, dude, we're like.
I'm just not
15 years away.
I'm
still.
not. You see, I disagree because this is the same people that want to get rid of cinematography. People is coming down.
That's
the
what
aisle.
I'm saying. You're expecting them to like, hey, we have a whole animated version. Let's just throw it in this one. No,
to try to get popularity.
No, because that's good. That's a good thing. They're not doing good things. They're doing stupid things.
Well, again, if they're trying to get ratings and they think by doing this by letting Lady Gaga take up 5 minutes of time,
she deserves it,
and other people's 5 minutes of time to perform. Much more than the people who actually do the movies.
No, all of them. You're watching the damn Oscars, people. It's going to go long. Who cares?
Is it a TV show or is it a award show?
Award show.
So then no.
When's the last? No offense. When's the last time Oscars had decent ratings?
They always have decent ratings. 20 million.
They had the lowest ratings they've ever had
and
last
that's still
year.
20 million people. That's like
okay,
The Walking Dead.
So at this point, that doesn't matter. So why not just put on the show you've been putting on?
Because they want more ratings. They want to be the Super Bowl.
And you
movies.
think if they nominate an animated movie, that's going to do it?
I think if all of a sudden, like they're doing what they expect to do this year, when they're like, "Hey guys, Black Panther, you actually have seen this movie, is nominated for an Academy Award." I think that's what they're hoping for.
Okay, if an African American animated movie comes out or one that as culturally as relevant, sure. No, I don't know any of those movies in production right now.
I mean, Frozen is about two strong women
but it's
with no male
protagonist. I think it's a different type of fantasy. I think it lacks that Black Panther message. I think the closest movies we've seen have already passed. Like a Toy Story 3, like a Coco. If a Coco doesn't get nominated, then I don't think they're looking at movies like that.
Coco is pre-Black Panther being nominated.
But it's not.
That's where we're at right now.
It's a year ago.
Where we're at right now is pre and post Black Panther.
I don't think it's that close. I think we're very far away.
Maybe.
And from what we've heard inside Hollywood, from professionals in the VFX, they're very far. Andy Serkis doesn't even get love as an actor, and
there's only 5 Academy Award slots for Best Actor.
And there's been some slots.
Opposed to there's 10,
and they don't use them.
Slots, but they have them. And the fact is they've already used one of them for a Marvel movie. The fact is we already know that they wanted to create a pop culture category. What I'm saying is maybe we're 10, 15 years away. But what I'm saying is to put it away, to say that it's not going to happen, when we're hearing that all they're looking for.
I guess 15 years to me is almost not going to happen. Like, if you're telling me, okay, 10 years, that still might happen. Of course.
I'm telling you,
it's not anytime soon.
I'm telling you, next January, we find out that Toy Story 4 is nominated for Best Picture.
Bet any amount of money on
that's not crazy.
I think it is. I think we just got to blockbusters. Animation is like a couple steps still out of the direction, especially when you get like 5 good animated movies a year. If that, you get 5 this year. What, you got 3 really good ones? 4 with Isle of Dogs.
You always get a good batch.
You get a nice batch, but like it's 2 studios.
But you always get a good batch. Like I think it's funny because you're diminishing those type of movies right now, but then you will fight tooth and nail for them in other conversations. The fact is Toy Story 3 was one of the best movies the year it came out in, and arguably could have been nominated for an Academy Award. Now that we're in a post-Black Panther world, if Toy Story 4, if it is as good, if not better than the first 3 movies, it has a possibility of being nominated for an Academy Award.
Who made those movies?
Disney.
The animators, like producers, like the people behind the scenes.
Sure.
Those people are the ones we're taking away camera time from. So now you want to tell me we're going to put those people back up in front to be in this major award category when we're not even letting these behind-the-scene people get any attention? Like, that's our next story here, where it's like we're cutting time from people that work behind the scenes because we don't know who they are. So you're telling me we're going to put an animated movie. We're not putting the voice actors on there. We're going to put the people that created the animation, people that we don't really know outside the big bubble, and we're going to make them the head front. No, we're not.
What I'm saying is when Black Panther, if it wins the Academy Award, it's not just going to be Michael B. Jordan and Chadwick Boseman and Lupita Nyong'o picking that up. It's going to be Bob Iger, and it's going to be Kevin Feige, and it's going to be that. They might be
faces we know.
No, faces that we know. Our mother doesn't know who Kevin Feige is. Our mother doesn't know who Bob Iger is.
At least.
Not really.
I mean, we're not going to agree on this point because it's so far away. Like, I will bet anything in this world that we're not even within 5-10 years we will not have an anime nominated, if ever.
I mean, look at it's. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I think for such
I don't know what else to say.
I think
it's crazy to think that,
for such a progressive dude to think that in the next 10 years it's not possible in a post Black Panther Academy
I think
Award
that's as far as we get with these Oscars.
A movie like Toy Story, the lineage of Toy Story, doesn't have even the possibility, and that's why I think Frozen was the first thought, because like, okay, that it was so culturally relevant in part 1, and if part 2 is anything like that, then it has an argument. And part 4 is critically always one of them. Toy Story 1, 2, and 3, the years they came out were critically some of the most highest reviewed movies by.
Oh no, I agree, but we don't run the Oscars, Mike. We're talking about these Oscars. We're not talking about.
But that's
if it was up to me,
Oscars,
I would have put a couple more movies on for top 10. I think Spider-Man: Spider-Verse is the best movie to come out last year, and it deserves an Oscar nom. That doesn't mean that's what the Academy deserves.
But that's a great point. Spider-Verse might be the Logan of this year, where because Spider-Verse didn't get nominated for Best Academy Award for Best Picture, now people will be looking at these.
Well, what if
cartoons.
it wins Best Animated? Then you're like, I'm pretty happy.
Opposed to the fact that it could have been nominated for Best Picture.
You know what, man? As a coach, I'll be honest. The majority of people, that's how this whole corporation works. You see the win, and you're happy. They distract you with these little bits of happiness, and it takes away from them. But I could have got that. But it distracts you.
But this is where it's important for people to, when they listen to the show, why it's a big deal for a show to be nominated for an Academy Award. Even if Spider-Verse wins Best Animated Film, and let's say it was nominated for the top 10 films, was nominated for Best Picture, and it lost. The fact is that on its DVD, on the resume, for rest of time, it can say not only did we win Best Animated Feature, that was a given, we were nominated as one of the best films by our peers, by the Academy, by the critics.
And everyone already has voted Spider-Man one of the best movies of the year. That doesn't mean the Oscars are going to be like, no, they have a category.
So my point is, with that pressure,
Black Panther doesn't have another category to go to.
The pressure, but they were thinking about creating.
They were, and then it got backlash. They didn't do it, so they're like, listen, we'll add blockbusters in. Anime, they're not going to add a third string when they already have an award for it people admire.
It's not adding anything. It's adding that movie to the 10 slots that already has.
So you don't think it's a big deal? Just if we threw an anime movie, it wouldn't be a big deal.
I'm saying it is a big deal. That's why I'm asking you, will this be the year it happens?
I think the argument is, okay, Black Panther didn't have anywhere else to go. If we didn't nominate it for that, then the movie doesn't get nominated for a best movie.
Okay, you're being
animated movie is best movie animated.
You're handcuffing somebody. You're putting a ceiling to them. You can't say that you can't say that Spider-Verse is only as good as whatever the best animated movie was that year. You have to compare that movie to the rest of the movies that came out in Hollywood.
That's a tough thing, man. It's like in UFC, like you have different weight classes, you have a women's championship and a men's.
But then there's pound for pound.
It's different. I guess.
But then you have a pound for pound list where the UFC themselves say who is pound for pound the best fighter in the world.
Okay, then what about like the woman and a man? Like you're never gonna.
They're on the list too. So
see, I guess that's a different equation. I just think it's just so. They consider it the same thing. They're like, if you're the best animated movie, you're one of the best movies of the year. I don't think they're in a rush to be
people
like,
don't think that,
we have to. No, I think people don't care as much as you think they do. Like, I think we have bigger issues with the Oscars. I think that's my argument. Is there's so many bigger issues with the Oscars. Making animated movie part of the best contention is so low on it.
But that's the problem. Like being fixated on the fact that it's only animated. The real solution, the real problem is the fact that you are fighting so hard to say they don't deserve to be in it.
No, I'm saying that they don't think. I'm saying I'm as the Oscars. Not if it was up to us, we would have a different top 10. We're saying is it realistic, and I'm saying no.
The problem is though that is just one of many, and the fact is that should be one of the easiest things to have happen. There's great animated films all the time. Every year, some of the top 10, How to Train Your Dragon 1 and 2 are some of the greatest movies that you can ever watch. Toy Story 1, 2, and 3. The fact is, it should be easy for one of those movies to have on its merits alone.
It should.
So the point is, though, the fact that there's so much backlash and the fact that you believe so strongly that we're so far away, that's not even a conversation, is the problem.
Like, because if you
look at these else?
Like, you'll be lying if you said, I saw 10 headlines saying Spider-Man deserved to be the best movie, or Incredibles, or Frozen. Like, those are the conversations we're having. Right now, the conversations we're having are like why didn't we get more popular movies? Why didn't these directors get nominated? How come this movie gets nominated for this? How come this one didn't get a documentary? Like, what's the big topic we're here to talk about? They're cutting 4 awards from the show. 4 awards. Just because they're editing, casting. Like, some important awards are being cut. And those are the headlines. I don't think we're out there seeing headlines saying, you know what, Spider-Man got nominated for this one, but it really should have got nominated for both. I don't think that's the headline right now, and maybe that's
All
why.
right. Well, I mean, look at all right. So the headline is that the Academy is not cutting these awards, but they're taking them away from television.
Which is
So
just
there's-
like cutting
It's
them.
it's like cutting it.
That's bullshit, dude, and we both agree on that.
and it's bullshit. But that's where the argument comes in. We're talking about an organization that's stupid. I just tweeted I just Google search why Spider-Man should Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse get nominated for Best Picture? And the most recent thing that came up was in January 26th. So it is a conversation from different outlets that it should have been nominated for Best Picture. And the only reason I'm harping on this is we're talking about an organization that has no idea what they're talking about. We're talking about an organization that was wanting to bring in Best Pop Culture Video. We're talking about the Academy that is no cinematography. There is no movie without cinematography. And this is my beef with you about Lady Gaga deserves to sing in the Oscars. No, she doesn't. You want to know what Lady Gaga deserves? Her Academy Award nominee. And for her to have an acceptance speech if she wins
but
it.
There's
They've
always had songs and
No,
performances.
they've the perform not like they do now, where it's the spectacle of the show. And remember, they said they were only going to do 2 performances.
And I agree with you
and there
too.
was a
And guess what?
backlash.
The 2 should have been Lady Gaga and Kendrick Lamar, Black Panther, Stars Born, the heavy favorites. They decided, listen, the music shows are what's selling more than anyone else.
Okay, then there's the
music
problem.
sells.
So it goes back
but
to what
I
you're
don't think.
saying.
I think that was a little shady at Lady Gaga because she, regardless if they
It
picked
could be
one
against
performance,
I
she's the one.
No, I'm going to go for whoever the performance is this year. That happens to be Lady Gaga. I don't care who it was
Like,
last
it's
year.
like if
The fact that The Greatest Showman had a 7-minute.
But it was an intro too.
It doesn't. I don't care. The fact is that you could take songs out of every single movie. Songs, not sounds, not the score. The soundtrack of a movie, and it means shit. You know what matters? Casting. You know what matters? Costume. You know what matters?
I agree with you in a sense where, like, yeah, those are important too. I think it's kind of ridiculous to say a music movie doesn't need music. I think there are movies, like, yeah, the soundtrack of Black Panther made the movie also. I agree. I'm personally under the impression I don't care how long the show is. I think the show should be long because they deserve it and they earned it. And maybe it needs to find a different home now because people aren't going to watch it. Now, as executives, if we're at ABC or wherever it is, of course we're like, okay, who gives a shit? Realistically, majority's not going to give a shit. The people watching don't give a shit about these editors. Of course not. They want to see 5 songs.
Yeah, they want to see Lady Gaga.
Because if we just put Lady Gaga, and again, if there was one song, if you were fine with one song, it's Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
Let's be realistic.
The hate's not on Lady
And now
Gaga.
we're like, hey, we do need to put Kendrick Lamar out there. We should put Adele out there.
The hate's not on the performers. It's not
I
their fault.
want a longer show. I think everyone in that show deserves
You're
their
a
time.
wrestling fan, so you'll watch a 7-hour
Yeah,
WrestleMania. I'm not
exactly.
talking
Dude,
about
we're the
that.
wrong audience.
What I'm saying though is like
What sells?
if we're-
Music.
but it's not. Let's take. This is a business show. We always talk about what sells it. But what I strictly saying, if this is an award show, I don't care about your songs. I don't care.
I do.
You know who I care?
I do.
And you want to know how I know the Academy doesn't care? Maybe the producers may not care. You go to theacademy.com. The first thing it tells you, what was the best picture? The next thing it tells you, what was the best director? The next thing it tells you, who are the best actors.
That's website.
So the most
realistically,
important.
out of those 20 million watching, they're not going to the website. They're like, hey, I like that song on the radio.
I think we're a little confused. Alex, what's the most important part about the Academy Awards?
I guess the show. The show is the most
The
important.
awards are the most important part, Alex.
The news, the drama, the show, like the show itself. Like, I don't think, like, yeah, the 3 weeks before is big news and the 2 weeks after is big news, but like the show itself, the red carpet, the scene, the tuxedos, the trophies, the wrong reading of a name, the movie that got snubbed. So I guess the show. In my opinion, the show is the important part because that's where they get us, the hardcore fans, and the softcore fans, and everyone's going to watch. It's like the Super Bowl. What's more important, commercials or the game? Doesn't matter. You're going to watch both. So I think it's like the show is the most important part. And these snubs, as much as they suck, the normal people is not going to notice, and that's even worse. And I guess bringing it back to our argument, I can't make that argument for animated movies right now when there's so much bullshit going on that it's hard for me to see it. And you're probably right. Like, I just looked it up, and there has been recent movies like Up and Toy Story went out of the best movie.
Yeah.
And I guess it's not as unrealistic, but for me and my mindset, it's such bullshit. We have so many bigger issues. Then I just can't see it. Like, at least they got a fucking award on TV.
But the frustration isn't just about who's not getting nominated. The frustration is this organization. And the foundation itself is the fact that you can make such a great argument about why it's important to have Lady Gaga and the performers
I think it's very
perform
important, yes.
is what's the foundational problem with it. It doesn't matter. Lady Gaga will come and go. She's phenomenal. She deserves to win Best Actress. So she's gonna have her. That's not what it is. This is about. That's not what this is about.
So we can argue about actors.
But this is not what this is about. What I'm saying though is, the Academy Awards is not the Grammys. It's not the Teen Choice Awards. It's not the MTV Awards,
which are high viewed, though.
Of course, but so are the Oscars. The Grammys wish to be the Oscars. Even at its lowest, Alex, and you know I'm a media guy. Even at its lowest, people die for the Academy Award ratings. But what I'm saying is, as a purist of the sport, I
think that there's the word
purist.
Of course, it's not a purist.
Nobody's talking
anymore,
about
man.
whether or not she's not worth money, and whether or not.
I just think.
But as a purist of the sport, I don't care. What's important is who wins. Is if Spike Lee is going to win his first Academy Award.
And that's fine. And that's your important thing. And that's why we're different on the show. And that's why we're both here. Because I have more of an ear to the ground, and you're my old school like sports guy. And I get why you don't care about that. But I guarantee a lot of people are just watching the Oscars for these performances. If Kevin Hart was hosting, that's an audience itself. Just to see Kevin host. They don't care if Spike. They don't like, oh, Spike Lee. I remember that movie back in the day. I didn't see BlacKkKlansman, but I remember it. Half the people didn't see Roma. It's going to win so many awards.
But here's the thing, though. It's like, we've been around, we've only been covering it for a few years. But let me ask you this. Like, most people can remember big performances from the Oscars over the last, 5, 6, 7 years, right? Name a random performer from the 90s or 80s. It wasn't a thing. Maybe they had a random
Social media wasn't a thing either, though.
The point is, though, while you're able to say, it's a good commodity, you want to know what it is? It's a quick Band-Aid. It's a quick fix to an institutional problem.
It's a hashtag. No, it's a hashtag,
but
dude.
It doesn't.
And we're in a hashtag society.
But it's not. Singing is not inherently part of the Oscars. It became a part of the Oscars. Yeah. You could take it away.
Oh, that's fine. But like I said, I don't
think.
No, but you would still lose an audience. I think that's not like on a list of things they're taking away. They showed you this is what we're gonna take away because we feel it's not important.
Let me ask.
And beside us hardcore people, I don't think your mother and father are not gonna watch the Oscars because the cinematography is not there.
I'll put you on the spot. Where does it end then? Let's start crossing on the list. When does it become more important? When does it become more important? So
short films are gonna get nubbed soon. That's
okay. So that's the point.
Foreign films.
So when do we get rid of women? When does Best Supporting Actress get taken away for Lady Gaga?
They'll never get rid of the main four. Dude, there might be a day where they go on to 10 awards, and those 10 awards are
and then 2 hours of music.
No, and they just cut the show in 2 hours. They make it a 3-hour show only, dude. They can drag that out.
It is already a 3. The whole point of this is to make it a 3-hour show.
Plus. It's that 3-hour change show.
The report was today that the 4 categories being taken off television is to get it to 3 hours, to have it at 3 hours.
I mean, the rumors are already circling that they were going to cut Best Short Film because no one knows where to find them. And I agree. I think they're more accessible. So the 3 on the list that have been rumored, and these are heavy rumors from good sources, Best Foreign Film, short documentary, and short film, which are different for some reason.
Cinematography.
So those are, and plus the 4. I know you want to put me on the spot, but realistically, dude, I have the answer that they're going to give you.
It's not the spot. It's where does it end?
It's not our control.
Where the morals comes to the point where it's 2 different points.
Dude, we get so bad that they do the big 8 and every speech is 10 minutes and we get 10 songs.
So
it could be that they can make it whatever they want. You said, they're good viewers.
And then the point is, and we're circling. The point is, though, is at what point does it stop being what it is?
I think when social media became big, it stopped being what it was. I think it's not what it was.
Maybe.
I think already it's not what it was. I think what's funny is I think the Grammys are still what it was. I think the Emmys are still what it was.
The Grammys were on fire.
I think every other award ceremony has got it right. I think the Oscars is the only one that have lost what it was and are just maintaining this hollow shell of what it was. And I think when it comes down to the only thing we agree on is we're not happy with the Oscars.
Oh, and
that's what it comes down. We're not happy with it.
But
what do you do? Do you not watch the Super Bowl? Do you not watch the final? Do we boycott? Because what is that going to do?
Right.
Do we not support these movies that we loved?
Well, I think if you're asking me, Mike,
I'm asking you on the spot. What do we do now with this situation?
I think what you have to do with this situation is you have to stop being so reactionary. We have to get to a point where you are just what you are. Guess what? Baseball is a slow sport. Unfortunately, you're not football. You don't get to be 60 minutes. You're a 3-hour game. Same thing with the Oscars. And here's the thing. You know what your audience is. Yeah, you want to get young. Yeah, you want to be part of the social media group. But you know how you do that? By making good movies and by being ahead of the curve when it comes to, the movies you present, the way you market. Instead of having Billy Crystal had hosted 2 years ago, or Jimmy Kimmel because it was safe. Maybe you should have gone. I know, but like maybe you should have just let Kevin Hart done it this year.
Why not just pick The Rock? I heard The Rock was offered. He just was too busy or didn't wanna.
And my point is like my biggest problem, and you said it perfectly, is we're just not happy because they're getting in their own way.
And guess what? And we have no options. Like there's no other award show to watch. It's gonna. No offense, I'm not gonna watch the SGAs. Like I will watch them, but I'm not gonna say, well,
it's not the same.
Like it's the Oscar. Like no, there is a. Like, no matter how good the XFL is, no matter how good college football is, like, it's not the Super Bowl.
Which it goes back to my point where, I know it sounds like I'm throwing shade to Lady Gaga, but for this year specifically, Lady Gaga actually, probably more than any performer recently, deserves to be on that stage because not only was the song great, the movie was great, she's great. She's
doing a good job.
So she has a chance of, you know why I think it's okay? That night has the chance to become the Lady Gaga Oscar night. So I think it's appropriate that you kind of it's all part of one story. Last year it was like, well, you have Coco here, you have Greatest Showman was all over there when it's music, but like the movie sucked.
So
you liked it.
You can say it's up, but
it wasn't an Academy movie. It wasn't an Academy movie.
But the song got nominated, so I got nominated what it should have got nominated for.
But the point is, though, it was like the Gangster's Paradise. Gangster's Paradise might have been a great song. The movie was horrible, and it was plastered all over that Academy Awards.
Black Panther, besides Socially, is it an Oscar movie? Probably not, dude. It wasn't, dude. It's not even one of the top 3 Marvel movies. But Socially, you accept that. You're like, you know what? I get why it got nominated. I think it's not a. Like I said, Blind Spotting was better. Black Klansman was better. Like, a lot of movies were better. But I get the social impact. I think same with Greatest Showman. Like, the movie's not great. But that dude, they're still hitting #1. Yeah, but it's been 2 years.
But to tell me that Greatest Showman's hype, commercial song is not as good as Shallow. Like, Shallow is a song that's inherently part of a great movie.
Yeah, and that's why Shallow's going to win. And Remember Me won.
It's inherently part of a great movie. Exactly. Remember Me had 1 3-minute segment, which again, 3 minutes you could have given it to an award-winning, But
I don't see people complaining about that.
But here's the thing, though. At the very least, that song was part of a great movie that arguably could have been one of the top 10 movies. I could say that. Greatest Showman might have been a great song.
You know what? I finally understand your argument of like, I think you're more upset when sometimes it's not great movies, where it's a bad movie and just a good song. You're like, that's what the Grammy's for. Okay, I kind of get where you're coming from. I disagree because I think it is part of motion picture and maybe that is the highlight. Yeah. But I understand at least what you're like, well, I don't think a song should get nominated if it's a shitty movie. Because they have awards for music. I get that.
Both things can be true. It could be a great song. And it can be a shitty movie. It can be a great movie and have a shitty soundtrack. Yeah. Like, both things can be true. But the point is the Oscars are so goddamn reactionary that everything becomes this thing.
Social media ruins everything, dude.
You're
looking for the hashtag. You're looking for the quick hit. Like, what are you talking about? You're talking about the Oscars. Like, how are we going to get through? What do we have the Oscars? Next weekend, right? Next weekend.
Yeah, and the promise is we love the Oscars. That's
and
why
we're going to bet on it. Yeah. There's pools, and that's the one time people come back and talk about all movies.
Betting special next week for the Oscars.
Yeah,
we got to continue on, Alex.
Enjoy our shows? Follow the Mercado Airwaves crew all over social media. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. On Instagram, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy. Alex is at Mercado2121. Mike is at Mike Mercado2333. And our true crime show is at Murder Mysteries and More. And on Twitter, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy, Alex is at Mercado21Alex, and Mike is at mmercado2333. You can follow the network at Mercado Airwaves. Follow our pop culture show on Twitter at Good Brothers Pod. Get us on the go by downloading our programs anywhere you get your favorite podcast, like iTunes, SoundCloud, Podbean, Stitcher, and other popular sites. Just search us at Mercado Airwaves. While you're at it, please like, rate, review, and share us with your friends. Visit us on youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. Click the subscribe and like button to get notified every time a new episode or interview is posted. Support Mercado Airwaves by visiting patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves, the home of our interviews with athletes and celebrities, which you can get ad-free and early before it's released to the public. Come play video games with us on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves Network. Mercado Airwaves is powered by Munch Art Design. Like them on Facebook at Munch Art Design. Voiceover work on Mercado Airwaves is performed by Josh Fox.
What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson.
Another day at the operator to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones.
Orlando, how you doing,
Thank
buddy?
you, sir. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
And all the other interesting guests we've had on. Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support.
It is Valentine's Day season, so you know what? I'm going to
Love
put
is
you to the
fake.
fire. I know I put you to the test in a really good first take S debate of the Oscars, but this time...
Dibs on us,
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith.
I get to be Max Kellerman. That's
Damn
cool.
it, never
Yeah.
mind. I want to be Max Kellerman.
So, Alex, romantic comedies. What is some of your favorites? Just go ahead. We don't have to bring them. Just give us some of your
You know
favorites.
me, dude. I
recommendations.
love me some romantic movies, romantic comedies. I love Friends with Benefits.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Love Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Superbad doesn't count. It's not romantic, really.
Deadpool 1. I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
We'll put that one in there.
Yeah.
Deadpool 1's a fun one.
I love Knocked Up.
Knocked Up is great.
I think Knocked Up is
Superbad?
fantastic.
Is Superbad one or is that
No,
one
that's
Buddy?
a coming of age.
Okay.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
I'll lose it down to 10
I'm a real mushy guy. I like Sweet Home Alabama.
Okay, yeah. You know what? That's the level of
Friends
that's-
with Benefits
what's the one?
No
that-
Strings Attached. I like that one.
Which one's the one where Ryan Reynolds isn't the fat dude?
Just Friends.
Just Friends.
I
is
hate
cute.
that one.
I like that one.
I don't like that one.
I like that one.
I just never got into it.
I'm trying to think what other ones.
I like a lot of romantic movies. Like, I'll be honest, I like the Nicholas Sparks stuff. Like, he's the guy that got me into writing.
Sure.
Because I was like, I can write this stuff. This romantic stuff. Like, I love The Notebooks and Dear John's. Like, you know me, I like all those movies. Like, I'm a big fan of Longest Ride and, you know, the old school Miley Cyrus.
What do you think it is about romantic comedies that strikes people so much? I get it's love and everybody wants to feel
It's a
love.
movie we all can watch, something we can all relate to or aspire to, where it's a funnier, because life's funny. I think life is funny. If you're not laughing a lot
Yeah,
of
I
it,
agree.
like, I think it's a sad life. Like,
Sure.
love is funny. Love's a bitch, dude. Like, it's a funny thing, like, what you put yourself through or what you go through for love. And I think it's funny to see it. Like, I love, the one with
Describe
Ryan
it.
Reynolds and Sandra Bullock.
Go ahead, just keep talking about
The
I'll look up
Proposal.
name, yeah.
I love the proposal.
Yes.
And it's so dumb, but I love that movie because, like, Ryan Reynolds is great. Honestly, we've mentioned him like 10 times already.
Yeah, I know we do.
So
love
Ryan
him.
Reynolds
Yeah, I
is
know, just
great.
Ryan Reynolds.
But no, I think it's just a good escape of, like, you know what? Like, love sucks, but love is great sometimes, sort of thing.
I love having this conversation, especially whenever we get to do rom-coms. I love to just be able to bring up Forgetting Sarah Marshall. We talked about it just a few minutes ago, but
That's your spirit animal.
it
huh?
is, man. That movie is just it's just everything. And to think about the people who are in it at the time: Kristen Bell, Mila Kunis. You have Jason Segel.
Yeah,
You have
Mina Greek.
obviously. I totally stayed.
If this was 10 years ago, you remember his name.
Yeah, I totally would have remember his name. It'll come up in a second.
It'll
but,
pop up.
you know what it is about that movie is it's all the charm. The reason why I consider Forgetting Sarah Marshall the Russell Brand,
You got it. Dang
without
it.
having to look it up, Russell Brand. The only reason I love Forgetting Sarah Marshall, it's a coming of age mixed with a rom-com, but it also kind of has like that head in the clouds thing that I always just gravitate to.
Well, that's your movie. You see, like, everyone knows your favorite romantic comedy is the movie you see yourself in.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
you're like, you know what? I'm more at that part of my life right now. Where you're like, he has a hot girlfriend, gets dumped by his hot, gets cheated on, finds an equally, if not more hot Mila Kunis. It's like an extension of, like, man, that's a cool line for, like, a lovable loser. Like, hey, he's not the most ripped dude, and he's not, you know, a 10 out of 10, but he's all right. Like, he's funny. He's charming. And I that is what's fun about these movies sometimes.
You get lost in them. You in a good way. You get
Yeah,
lost in them.
exactly.
Like we all want to be Luke and Han, and like we can. Like
I'm Han, by the way.
you can see yourself in the heroicness, but there's also I always tell you there's something mystifying about the mundane. It's like you can get lost in the idea of like
Jason Segel made a whole career out of
he
being the
really
mundane.
did. But like so did Bruce Willis for the longest time. Bruce Willis was the original rom-com guy. I mean,
Yeah.
Look Who's Talking. Obviously this time in Friends. Like he's had a whole prelude of it, and like George Clooney did. Like I love romantic comedies. It's
Ryan
just-
Reynolds, right?
Ryan
He's
Reynolds
gorgeous,
has made
though. Yeah, he's
Kevin
just
Smith. That's some of the greatest ones that he's directed over the last few years. So like I think rom-coms kind of died out a little bit after the Matthew McConaughey era. There were some good ones.
It
and
hit
then
its
died
peak
out
and then
at
it
the
just
end.
died.
But
I mean, it's made a resurgence with Big Sick. Big Sick was huge, man. But you know what? I think you know what the best one is we haven't mentioned, and it's the OG one. When Harry Met Sally. Harry Met Sally holds the hell up to this day. If
Shout out to Billy Crystal.
Like, if you've never seen When Harry Met Sally, that's the OG romantic comedy. And I'm telling you, I saw that in my... I never saw it. And I was 25 when I saw it.
Is that Meg Ryan or Michelle Pfeiffer? Yeah, it's Meg
Ryan.
Ryan.
It's Meg Ryan.
Yeah, it's Meg Ryan.
And that movie, I was like, man, dude, I needed to see this movie at 26 because I get it. Like, I'm there with you about commitment and love and where you are in your life. And sometimes the right person's there, but the life isn't. And the life is there, but you're not in love with that timing. And it's so good. That's my movie.
Ahead of its time. So if you really think about it,
it's timeless. No, it's better. It's timeless.
Yeah, that's a great word.
And she's independent. He's kind of a player / lover boy.
Because it doesn't give you what you want.
But it does and it doesn't. And and it's very real about, like, hey, we weren't ready at that point.
I'll be honest with you. The ending kind of I was like, oh.
Like, it does give you, you're like, man, I get it. Like, it may have taken a while, but life takes a while sometimes. And it does work like that sometimes.
Okay, how about this? You know what? Because I'm trying to think about it, and it's here somewhere because I can feel my body having a reaction to it. Could you have a rom-com that doesn't have an ending that's good? That in the sense of it doesn't end the way you want it to. I feel like there's one on the tip of my tongue that had an effect on me.
That doesn't end. 500 Days of Summer is kind of sad.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think he's kind of a tool regardless. I think he's more obsessed than in love. But I think that's the character they're trying to play is where he's not really a lover. Yeah. He's more of obsessed with pretty girls. And I've been there in your life where you're like, I keep telling myself I'm in love, but maybe I just think she's pretty and I'm having fun. And then you realize it's not love. And I think that's one of those oh man, oh, you're kind of dumb, dude.
Yeah, for me, the one that kind of hit me the hardest was La La Land. I know you don't like. I don't, and this isn't a.
I like La La Land. I think it's overrated, but I like it.
But just strictly of the ending.
I like the ending.
The ending
I
really,
think it's good.
It crushed me. It was a great ending. I wouldn't want the movie to end any other way, but it crushed me. It did crush me in the sense of no, that's real, man.
I
that's
think it's
real.
funny because you're talking to a few years older you who's in a good relationship. You lived with your future wifey, compared to me who's single and a little younger in his mid-20s. And the ending's I'm like, yo, I feel that ending, dude. I get that ending, and you're like, I'm sad. I wanted to find love.
And you know what's funny is when I saw that movie, I was about 2 years younger, so I was 26. And I remember watching it and be like, oh, man, that's really sad. And being able to find yourself in Ryan Gosling, but finding the positive of he will move on. And then
it's a better choice.
But then when you're in my age, when you're at least in my point in life, and you look at it, you're like, man, but there's a life that he didn't get. That
you could have had a really good life.
Had a really good life,
and then it goes to is love worth changing your dreams for? It asks you those questions of
I think that movie's
we're getting into a Type U and Tipsy discussion about it. It's is it that movie has a great message? I feel where phenomenal. It's do you live your dreams or do you adjust your dreams to something even better? Maybe even better than your dreams were.
I think you brought it up, wonderful about the idea of sometimes it's just right place, wrong time, or wrong place, right time. It's just one of those, that movie, I described it to a friend one time, but that's life though. You can love somebody so hard. They can love you. It could be there and just
you meet in college, maybe it didn't work out. You met when you were 16. You're like, hey, it took us till we were 28 to realize, you know what, maybe we could be together. Never mind. Oh, now we're 31 and we both have real bad relationships. Okay, maybe now we can be together. Now it's more real.
And then you don't want to know what I think subconsciously always hurt about that movie, and that what hurts about those movies that strikes a chord with me is I think it's important in life to understand that you're insignificant, but you're also the world. And what I mean by that is, in the grand scheme of the universe, we mean nothing. We're nothing. We're specks of life in this crazy vast thing.
We are born the same guy, the same sort of thing. Yeah.
But to other people, to myself, to you, we're all each other's worlds.
Well, that's
and it's important. Both things can be true. And in these movies, the rom-coms that end bad, it's one of those things where it's I loved her and she loved me, or she loved, so on and so forth, but they can have a life without me.
And also, love's not enough sometimes.
And it's one of those things where it's real. There is a life after this. And the idea of this person can move on and have a life and have a daughter and have a husband. That thing is real. And that's why I love rom-coms. Rom-coms allow you to get put into, unlike horror movies.
Where it works out. Hey, I don't want to know what happened in 10 years they got divorced, or, you know what, they only dated for 3 months and realistically it didn't last. Or in The Proposal, you know what? they got married pretty fast, so maybe they weren't going to work out.
Right.
Or forgetting Sarah Marshall. Well, where does she live? Like, do they even live in the same state? Like, yeah, it's funny. Like, you don't want to think about that. That's why the comedy aspect is what helps.
But it's very important, though, is to have these genres. I know we like to make fun of them because, like, it's the easiest to make fun of.
I love them. I don't give a shit.
But at the same time, it's like, we need them just as much as we need horror, as much as we need sci-fi, and as much as we need drama.
Oh, no. They have their spot, dude. Like,
They're psyche inside the human mind.
Like, yeah, dude, I love those. Like, Greatest Showman was a sappy movie. I loved it.
And
I loved it.
And I give it a lot of shit, but and the thing is like, what's great about movies is if you could get something, like, when I got a Forgetting Sarah Marshall, somebody else might just get a great comedy out of it.
And look at Love, Simon this year, another romantic comedy with a gay teenager, and it was fantastic. It was so charming.
I'm so fascinated over the next 5 years. Some of the movies we're gonna get about
the progression,
about the LGBT community, and I know I'm forgetting.
Well, Comedy Central has that raunchy show about the two boyfriends.
Oh my god,
and that looks hilarious.
I cannot wait to see what they do over the next few years.
I can't wait for raunchy gay TV. It's gonna be hilarious.
It's gonna be crazy. But speaking of crazy television, good brother, we've been
Frank Yankers is coming back.
We've been, I know.
It is. I'm so excited.
We've been doing a lot of chitter chatter. We said it was gonna be a fill-in episode, but before I get to a 2-minute review of Resident Evil 2 Remake, Breaking Bad is coming back. It will be on Netflix before it hits. Yeah, before it gets on AMC. Breaking Bad's sequel movie that's going to be apparently now starting Jesse all the time.
So Aaron Paul is going to be. It basically comes right after he escapes. So he escapes, and that's all they give us. So is he going to be traumatized? Obviously Bryan Cranston's in it. Are we going to ghost him? Did he survive? Did Walt survive and he's in jail hospital and Jesse has to know and they're going to trial? Or is he escaping neo-Nazis still? Like, he killed a few of them, but is someone not going to come and get revenge? Or, are we going to find the bodies of Hank and everyone? Like, what happens to his wife and son? Like, there's a lot of story where you're like, what happened to Saul? What if we get at the end of Better Call Saul? And, not really a spoiler, but, he's still alive technically.
Sure.
And that's in the future. So what if we do get Better Call Saul, an aspect of well, what happened to Saul? Maybe Saul comes back and helps him. It's interesting. It's very fast. I can't wait for that first trailer. I'm going to shit myself, I think.
Right, no. And, so it is, this is where I wanted to get into. I don't want to necessarily get into, because we're going to have plenty of time to talk about rumors.
It's very
and all
early,
that.
yeah.
But let me ask you this. I think what's great about this, sometimes what happens with a lot of these things is too much time goes by or not enough time has happened. The show ended in 2013. I think what Vincent Gilligan and all the team at Breaking Bad have done that's so phenomenal is that they kept your appetite wet with Better Call Saul, but there's been enough time where you're like, you know what? I wouldn't mind a little bit more from the Breaking Bad universe that actually has to deal a little bit more with the actual Breaking Bad main characters, opposed to, let's say they had done it a year after 2013 series finale. Let's say in 2015 they came out with Jesse's movie. I don't think people would have been behind it. I think people would be like, give it time. I think
it's been the right amount of time, but it's still important.
But it hasn't been too long. What happened? So I think The Sopranos are going to have this problem. I think a lot of movies might have this problem with, especially like Deadwood. Too much time passed by.
Yeah, but Sopranos ended bad. I think that's what helps that one. Deadwood, I think Deadwood's the best example because I think I couldn't finish Deadwood. I think it's a little long.
And Sopranos is arguably the greatest show ever.
Besides the ending, and I think that's why it kind of makes up the last taste of your mouth's not the ending now.
Sure.
If it's a good movie, and I think it will be. Yeah. I think Deadwood's do people care anymore about Deadwood? Do cowboy movies even just look at all the revivals Hell on Fire or whatever. Hell on Wheels.
Hell on Wheels. Yeah.
It wasn't the most popular. Cowboy shows don't really sell. Even Westworld, as popular as it was, they kind of started getting away from the cowboy stuff more into the robot stuff because the cowboys aren't selling the genre.
Not like that.
Magnificent Seven was what? Mediocre moneymaker at best.
Hateful Eight didn't crush like everybody thought it was going to be, and that's a Tarantino movie. Hateful Eight.
Oh my God, I forgot. It was fine. It was.
I mean, it's a Tarantino.
It was fine. It did good, and then all these comedies about it, and the Ballad of Buster Scruggs had to go to Netflix, which isn't bad, but it just shows that people are watching more on Netflix than they're probably watching in the theater.
Well, it's funny. Movie. We don't have to divulge too much into it, but I think what happened to the cowboy movie is it's the
superhero movies. Logan's a cowboy movie for superheroes.
No, you trampled exactly what I was going to say, Alex. That's exactly it. It's not that cowboy movies are dead. Western cowboy movies are dead. What it is now is you have to make modern cowboy movies.
And Logan's
one of them. God, you want to know what's one of the greatest ones that nobody considers a cowboy movie, but it's a cowboy? Hell or High Water.
Oh my
That's
God.
a cowboy movie.
That's a modern cowboy movie. Like those are the
No
modern
Country
cowboys.
for Old Men.
Modern
is
cowboy.
A modern cowboy.
Like
movie.
these are real cowboys that are nowadays a little more outlaw, but between the laws in these small towns in Texas. Which if you go, I went to a school in small town Texas.
Mm-hmm.
There is not a lot around people. Like there's still a Wild West out there, but modernized and they look different and they're dressing different. Like it's flannel and jeans and boots.
Agree.
It's not, Spurs anymore. It's the cowboy hats are basically the same, but it's trucker caps now too.
And it's funny because Breaking Bad still lives in a universe, in a real timeline that it still exists in it. Breaking Bad can happen still. This stuff it's still relevant.
Yeah.
It's
Drugs
all still
never
very
gonna
relevant.
stop.
Everybody loves Aaron Paul. Bryan Cranston is still one of the hottest, properties in the world.
He just had a huge movie just recently.
Exactly. Gilligan is still crushing it with Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul is one of the greatest shows on television.
And it's nominated
It's
as just
all
for being alive.
jolly vibes. It's all jolly vibes in the universe.
Had
So
one of them not come back, I'd be worried. But since everyone came back, I'm like, they got a story to tell.
So-
Something's gonna happen.
I just want to hear one more. Jesse.
Don't do it, Jesse.
All right, Alex, I got 2 minutes to talk about Resident Evil 2
go.
Remake. Resident Evil 2 Remake is the greatest remake to ever be made on any generation of any video game. It is the second greatest Resident Evil game. I cannot wait to see a Resident Evil 3 remake and obviously Resident Evil 8. My theory is Resident Evil 8 will be first person again, and then they will go back to the over-the-shoulder. I think Resident Evil Nemesis will go exactly how Resident Evil 2 is. I give it a 9 out of 10. I think currently it is second in the running for Game of the Year behind Kingdom Hearts 3. I have not played Kingdom Hearts 3, but I hear great things of it. Unfortunately, unlike Red Dead and God of War, I don't think that's going to be a scenario. I think Resident Evil 2 will go the rest of the years breaking sales records. It will be the highest selling Resident Evil game ever made, but it will not win Game of the Year. But I love it. And we are finishing up our streams, Alex, on twitch.tv/Mercado Airways Network. Resident Evil still reigns supreme in the horror survival genre.
I like Mortal Kombat.
You're an idiot, but we will, Alex, be kicking each other's ass in April.
Like, don't lie to the audience. I always
We'll
win.
see.
You know
Alex,
I would fight.
Elimination Chamber is coming up
Boo.
this weekend. Not necessarily we're going to break it down card for card. I will be doing a special on it, though, like we always do on the network. No big deal.
Might as well, right?
Yeah, but we are getting to the road to WrestleMania. A lot of complaints have been happening about the Becky Lynch storyline.
It's on purpose, guys.
All right, cool. So you're not
Like,
done.
wait, I'm not a mark. No,
Okay.
I'm not in. Like, obviously, you weren't going to have a. It's like JR said. He's like, listen, guys, I think you need to get out of your head. It's not going to be a one-on-one in WrestleMania. They got to put all three and all three sell. And guess what? If that's what it takes for win the main event, because they are by far the most important storyline. Like, I don't give a damn about anyone else at this point. Kind of Seth Rollins, because I like Seth Rollins personally. Yeah, this is the main event, dude.
Right? Am I the weird one though who thinks that? I like triple threats. I think triple threats are better stories than a one-on-one.
Some of the best moments we had. What was the most recent moment? Daniel Bryan beating Batista and Randy Orton
and what do
the
people
same night.
And what do people say is one of the biggest complaints of all wrestling history is that we never got to see The Rock versus Stone Cold versus Triple H. Becky Lynch will never be as popular as she ever is. Charlotte is at her apex. And
Charlotte's
Ronda is
a good middle. She has the name too.
This is it.
Like Flair's big.
This is it. There will never be another moment that you can have these three women at this. You are, to me, you would have wasted not putting all three in the main
And
event.
you have a scenario where, let's say it goes like this. Let's say you're in a triple threat. And let's say it's a one pin wins and they pin Becky pins Charlotte, you win. And you save Ronda. And in a year, at next WrestleMania, he says, you know what? Now they are big enough. They can main event just the two of them. Now we tested it.
Right.
And we're doing 2 years in a row with that. Or you could say, let's make an elimination match. And let's get Becky the clean pin on both of them. Either way you go, it's fine. Like, I think it's fine. Like, if you don't want to pin Ronda just yet, that's fine, dude. You know she has a 3-year contract, even with the baby, which means she'll have one perfect year still with regardless of baby or not. You can do something there if you want. Or you can go back to 4 Horsewomen eventually. Like, I think that is their goal one day, to go to 4 Horsewomen. Like, hey, Ronda, that year and a half you're taking off for a baby, maybe these girls can train a little better. Shayna Baszler comes in, starts running roughshod. I'm more upset Asuka hasn't been seen because I thought Asuka could do something, but I guess not.
For me, it comes down to you have Charlotte and this main event, and a lot of people think that she's been pushed down our throats. But here's my thing, though. Here's my thing. Charlotte is talented. Charlotte's not stale. And you want to know why Charlotte's been pushed down your throat? Because she's great.
And because it's the heat they want. Like,
Sure.
imagine if they would have made Roman. If Roman was a heel, this is the heat we would have got.
And I want to get into Roman. Unlike Charlotte, Roman's a great worker, and Charlotte's a great worker too. Roman's a great worker. But Roman was stale, and Roman was being pushed down the throats when there were other options. And to me, if you're taking away the idea of like, okay, yeah, it would have been nice for Becky and Ronda to just be one-on-one. Of course. But I think it's kind of douchey and kind of selfish to want to take away that from Charlotte in the sense of, look at its storyline, and in storyline, cool. If you're angry at storyline, that's cool. But man, Charlotte Flair has earned it from NXT. Yeah. She's been one of the greatest women's workers that we've ever seen.
I mean, she's arguably the best.
She deserves to be part of that group of Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Ronda Rousey main events of WrestleMania.
When you talk story-wise, you're like, Ronda still isn't the best talker. She's gotten better. She's great in ring, but that's not her forte. You did need a heel in here somewhere as a wrestler. You're like, well, someone kind of needs to carry the heel aspect of this and just be that. And guess who learned better than the greatest heel of all time? His daughter, who's arguably the greatest female heel of all time now. Because they're not going to turn Ronda. Ronda's too much of a face to turn like that. You can make her aggressive. You're not going to make her bad and talk smack. So you do need a Charlotte in here. And Becky's cool, but, it's like The Rock's the biggest superstar in the world and Austin was the biggest wrestler in the world. There is a difference of, as much as Becky breaks out and we're seeing more of the man, Ronda and Charlotte, they're still bigger names overall.
And this is why I appreciate the man herself when she was on this very network with your boy. She made it so great that you can listen to that interview right now, and it's still relative to her journey to WrestleMania 35 in New York City against Ronda Rousey. And we highly suggest that each and every one of you guys check that out, because she will be at the main event of WrestleMania 35.
Yeah, guys, I mean, that's for sure. Like, I think the problem is people don't think it is. I'm like, guys, this is obviously like to kill too much. Yeah, no. Like, we have another pay-per-view after this. We have Fastlane, guys. Fastlane. She's going to probably jump Charlotte this weekend.
Will Kofi Kingston go against Daniel Bryan for the World Heavyweight Championship?
No, I think
Mustafa
Ali.
All right, Alex, we are getting out of here. We've taken these people's time. We promised them a short show. We gave them an hour's worth of content. But before we get out of here, Alex, I told you in our pre-show fistfight meeting that we had a special gift for the lovely listeners of the Good Brothers. The amazing people in New York City and Bad Robot have given us digital copies of the zombie epic Overlord. And because our listeners are amazing, they're always supporting us, we're going to give them a chance to win it. So, Alex, did you come up with anything for these zombie-loving...
I want to hear what people's favorite zombie movie actually is.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm curious, because I think there's so many answers. Because I think you and me would have different answers. I want to know, what's your favorite zombie movie? Because, Train to Busan is probably up there, and it's very new.
Love it. So, but what we do is, when this episode is posted on all your favorite social media postings, podcast postings, YouTube,
we'll scrim the internet.
We'll go through them. Let us know what's your favorite zombie movie. And we'll even put up a poll on Facebook, and we'll put up our favorites, and you can vote on them. And we'll pick some winners. Some winners.
Yeah, okay, Mike. So we'll pick a movie each. What's your favorite zombie movie?
Damn. You know what? I will go off the board. I'm going to go Shaun of the Dead.
I'll go Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead.
Great options. And then we'll put Train to Busan, and we will put on another movie on there just for 28 Days Later on there too on the post. Yep. Those are some of the greatest movies ever.
Zombies.
Yeah, Fast Zombies.
Speaking of that, World War Z got canceled part 2. Yeah, it sucks, man.
Yeah, I love World War Z.
TV show though. They're gonna do a TV show.
That's one of those movies you and I two movies that I always think about that you and I just walked into not knowing what to expect. World War Z and World of the Wars and World War Z.
And I'd say Get Out.
Both of them
Get Out too.
And we walked in like, oh shit, this movie's actually really dope.
Yeah, randomly on a Tuesday.
So guys, check it out all over social media. Your chance to win Bad Robots, executive produced by J.J. Abrams himself, Mr. Star Wars.
One of the highest rated zombie movies online.
Overlord, you can get your copy here at Mercado Airways. Let us know what's your favorite zombie movie and also be part of that poll that we push up all over social media. And also, if you're a fan of How to Train Your Dragon, make sure you guys stay tuned to the Good Brothers. Alex, let's go home. For the good brother himself, Alex Mercado. I'm Mike Mercado. We'll see you on the next episode of the Good Brothers here on the Mercado Airwaves Network.
Thanks for joining us here on The Good Brothers, here on Mercado Airwaves. Enjoy our shows? Follow the Mercado Airways crew all over social media. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. On Instagram, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy, Alex is at Mercado2121, Mike is at Mike Mercado2333, and our true crime show is at Murder Mysteries and More. And on Twitter, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy, Alex is at Mercado21Alex, and Mike is at Mercado2333. You can follow the network at Mercado Airways. Follow our pop culture show on Twitter at Good Brothers Pod. Get us on the go by downloading our programs anywhere you get your favorite podcast, like iTunes, SoundCloud, Podbean, Stitcher, and other popular sites. Just search us at Mercado Airwaves. While you're at it, please like, rate, review, and share us with your friends. Visit us on youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. Click the subscribe and like button to get notified every time a new episode or interview is posted. Support Mercado Airwaves by visiting patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves, the home of our interviews with athletes and celebrities, which you can get ad-free and early before it's released to the public. Come play video games with us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves Network. Mercado Airwaves is powered by Munch Art Design. Like them on Facebook at Munch Art Design. Voiceover work on Mercado Airwaves is performed by Josh Fox. Enjoy our shows? Follow the Mercado Airways crew all over social media. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. On Instagram, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy, Alex is at Mercado2121, Mike is at Mike Mercado2333, and our true crime show is at Murder Mysteries and More. And on Twitter, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy, Alex is at Mercado21Alex, and Mike is at mmercado2333. You can follow the network at Mercado Airwaves. Follow our pop culture show on Twitter at Good Brothers Pod. Get us on the go by downloading our programs anywhere you get your favorite podcast, like iTunes, SoundCloud, Podbean, Stitcher, and other popular sites. Just search us at Mercado Airwaves. While you're at it, please like, rate, review, and share us with your friends. Visit us on youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. Click the subscribe and like button to get notified every time a new episode or interview is posted. Support Mercado Airwaves by visiting patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves, the home of our interviews with athletes and celebrities, which you can get ad-free and early before it's released to the public. Come play video games with us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves Network. Mercado Airwaves is powered by Munch Art Design. Like them on Facebook at Munch Art Design. Voiceover work on Mercado Airwaves is performed by Josh Fox.
What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
It's another day at the operator to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones,
Orlando, how you doing,
Hey,
buddy?
sir. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
and all the other interesting guests we've had on. Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support.